Long time no see. Welcome to Live Coffee Talk. If you are new to me, I'm Michelle. I am a visibility coach and marketing strategist, and I help introverted women coaches to turn a passion for coaching into a profitable business using the power of storytelling. I am so thrilled to be back with you. I know I've been MIA on Live Coffee Talk for a few weeks now. Yeah, it's one of those things that you just kind of have to realign and regroup, and having all these amazing speakers coming onto the show. I'm super excited, and I have one really amazing person and human being for you today. All right, so quick question. When you hear the word marketing, like what do you feel? What comes up for you? And this is a question I ask in my community all the time. I have a lot of students and clients who talk about talk about marketing, and they feel like, oh, ew, wait, what? I have to promote myself. Good morning, Gina. Welcome to the show. So good to have you here with us. So marketing is one of those words that it makes people, a lot of especially introverted coaches, it makes them cringe every time they hear that word. It's like you love this, you have this huge passion for coaching clients, but when it comes to marketing, it's like, ew, what? I have to promote myself. So if this is you, then my friend, stay on, stay tuned, because today I have something really amazing planned for you. And she is just absolutely amazing. You got to meet her. So in this episode, I'm going to have my friend, the founder and CEO from 95 Media, with me today. And we're going to dive into the world of marketing and how do you actually build a business that is result driven, that is scalable, using the marketing strategy that actually work. And I think this is really important because there's a lot of people like doing marketing just for DIY marketing or hope marketing. I call it hope marketing. You just throw it out there and hoping for the best, just closing your eye and hoping for the best, right? That's not the way that we do marketing. So just a quick announcement. If you're an introverted woman and you are running a best kept secret coaching business that nobody knows about, then I got great news because I have a 3-day masterclass that's coming up Friday, April 14th through the 16th. And I'm going to be teaching you my very 3 simple, easy to follow steps that you would turn that coaching business into something that you can get seen, get heard, and get clients. And I got a couple of bonuses that I threw out. I posted on Monday. So you're going to get a cash prize for $100 if you join me live and you participate in the chat during the 3 days. You're going to get a 10-page PDF that I'm going to give away on day 1. So if you come and join me live on day 1, you're going to get away with that. You're going to take away with that 10-page PDF. And you're also going to get a one-on-one VIP session with me so that we can talk about your current marketing strategies that you've been using. Is it working? Is it not working? How can we make it better? All right. I know you've been waiting for this moment where I introduce my special guest, Emma Tessler. Emma Emma is the founder and CEO of 95 Media. It's a women-run digital marketing agency that builds result-driven digital marketing strategies for scaling brands. And if you're thinking about like just starting a coaching business, it's not just starting it. You want to be able to scale and you want to be able to grow, right? And that start from day 1, the moment that you start having this coaching business. You can't just wait for years later. You know what? Let me just get one client. I'll think about the rest of it later. What you want to do is you want to build a foundation so that you can keep building on it. So you don't have to keep coming back and fixing all these stuff because that's just like doing it all over again. So learning the right strategy right from the beginning is so important. This is why I'm so passionate about inviting guests to come who's expert in these area. And she and her team help their clients connecting with ideal clients, building community, and converting audience members into paying clients. Like who doesn't want paying clients, right? Drop me an emoji right now. If you're watching this live, drop me an emoji right now. If you want paying clients this year, drop me your favorite emoji in the comment. And her first exposure to the world of digital marketing happened in 2015. I'm going to bring her on to the show so that she can talk more about her story. But today, Emma and her team has worked with over 100 clients in more than 25 industry and helping them monetize their online presence, seeing their incredible results. So I don't want to keep taking up her time. So I'm going to bring her up to the stage so that she can share her experience and expertise. Hi, Emma. So good
Hi.
to see you.
Thank you so much for having me with you today.
I am so excited because we connected to a podcast collaboration, and I was on your show, and like everything you do, it just amazes me. And I was looking at checking out your website, everything's just so on point. So I have a lot of questions for you, but before we begin, why don't you tell us about your story? Like how did you get started?
Yeah, for sure. I truly think there's so much power in the journey that you never saw coming, and that was definitely my path into digital marketing. I went to college for interior design, and I thought that's for sure what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I was in love with the industry, just thought it was so amazing. And then I was interning for a designer during school, and I found Instagram marketing just by happened chance. And she was, my mentor was someone who wanted to grow her business on Instagram. And in 2015, that was really unheard of. That was something no one was doing. And I was so intrigued because it was new, it was exciting. And as I started dipping my toes into it more, I realized, okay, this is something really cool. And this is definitely the future. And so that excitement of realizing what was to come and what this space was going to turn into really lit a fire under me. And I began taking on some side clients while I was in school and then building my clientele as I moved into working as a designer post college. And I knew this was something I wanted to get into, but like so many of us who side hustle when we begin, it's really scary to take that leap and go from side hustle to full time entrepreneur. And that really kept me stuck in questioning myself and not really believing this is something I could turn full time. And it wasn't until the pandemic hit when I realized, the world is kind of like crashing and burning. Like, if I don't take this leap right now and just kind of jump in 2 feet forward, I'm never going to do it. And so in 2020, I, left design, I quit my job, and I went into building 95 Media full time. And it has just been, incredible ever since. We have scaled beyond anything I thought we could. And it's just been a really amazing journey.
Yeah. I love how you said a lot of us find ourselves in this moment where it was not something that we had imagined. Like you went into interior design and then suddenly you realize, oh, like there's something else that you do really well and it's in the marketing space. So you leap into marketing. So I'm really curious though, because now we're talking about scaling. I know a lot of my audience, they're also doing a 9 to 5 kind of job. It's a job that pays the bill. And so, how easy was it? Because right now I'm looking at you, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so successful, right? She has her agency, she has her team. How easy was it for you to like pivot and actually go into this whole marketing business full time?
Oh, it was like the scariest thing I ever did. There was nothing easy about it. I don't think, honestly, for me, I'm a very like structured planning person. And the thing with building a business, as we all know, is that there is not a lot that you can do when it comes to, yes, you can set your goals and you can, project numbers and things like that. But at the end of the day, so much is unpredictable in entrepreneurship and business. And so for me, when my path to going full time was so crazy. Like every year on my anniversary of like my job. So I started my job in September of 2017. And every year, like when I had my annual review, I was like, this is it. I'm going to quit. I'm going to tell him like I'm putting in my 2 weeks. And every year I chickened out and I was like, nope, we're not going to do that. That's too scary. And so, like I said, like when 2020 hit, the design, what really was like the push for me was the design industry took a really big hit in 2020. There was a lot of issues with inventory and delays on shipping and things like that. And so there was not a lot of business in design. And the company I was working for was hit hard as well. Meanwhile, 95 Media, we were signing clients like crazy because, luckily for us, the pandemic had really shifted marketing and brands were finally forced to acknowledge, oh, social media is something I need to do because there's no in-person marketing, there's no billboards anymore, there's nothing that I can do in person, I can't hold events, etc. And so we were really taking off while my job was not doing as great. And so that was kind of the push for me where, I said, we're doing really well. And I think I can project where this is going. I think this is the real catalyst that my company needed to take off and be where I want to be in order to feel comfortable to leave my job. And so personally, I set a financial goal for us on our monthly revenue where I said, okay, with this number, if we hit this number, I know I can pay my team comfortably. I can pay my monthly, expenses that the company has, and I can start to pay myself, because at the time I actually wasn't even paying myself. I was just, living off of my full-time job, my paycheck. And that was a huge shift for me because to start paying yourself is a really big whoa, I can actually support myself with this company that I've built. And it's also scary because you're saying, okay, not only now am I responsible for paying the paychecks for my team, but I'm also responsible for paying the paycheck of myself. And if this goes under, like there's a lot on the line at that point. And that was something that kept me just kind of like in my head. But I think it was by September of 2020, we were hitting that monthly goal. And so I felt comfortable by December to then put in my 2 weeks. And by the end of the year, I had left that job. But it was very scary. So I don't take it lightly. And I don't think that everyone should necessarily just like take the leap. I think it's something that we should all really plan out and be strategic about. But at the end of the day, if that passion is really on your heart and it's been something that you're working towards, it definitely is worth trying and seeing what you can do with it.
Yeah, I love everything that you just shared, because I think a lot of people, when they think about, oh, I wanted to quit my full-time job, but you have to build a foundation. You have to start somewhere in order to scale, right? You didn't just, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna quit. I'm gonna leave my job, and here I am, I'm stuck. And how do I get more client? And I find that a lot of coaches are finding themselves in that space where they quit the 9 to 5, and so they have no foundation that has been built. And so a lot of what they're going through is trying to build that foundation while struggling to get the clients. So, and I think during the COVID time or pandemic time, it changes the way that we think about marketing. So a lot of people who have like physical product, or they do in person, like massage therapists, a lot of them started to shift into the online space. So tell us exactly, what is marketing? Like, what is the marketing that I need to understand as a business owner?
For me, and the way that we look at it, digital marketing is the core of all marketing that should be done in today's world. Unless you are an events company and it's all physical, you still need digital marketing. But most brands today, I would say 99% of brands live fundamentally in their digital marketing efforts. And so that can look like a few different things, right? Social media is kind of the core for a lot of businesses. And so that typically looks like Instagram and Facebook are kind of your base platforms. Instagram is really the one that every company is on today, and we see the most traction really being built. Facebook is a platform where we all kind of just like keep a presence on, but we know it's not necessarily going to lead to actual revenue. LinkedIn is great for companies that are B2B, right? So you're trying to connect with other founders, other business owners, that type of thing. TikTok, of course, is wonderful if you can sustain the amount of content that is needed for TikTok. And of course, today, we don't know if the ban is going to go through on TikTok. It's so up in the air. But if you're capable of creating the video content needed for TikTok, it's a wonderful platform because you can drive so much traffic and so much traction really quickly on that platform today. And then Pinterest is the other one where if you are selling a product or you're trying to drive website traffic, Pinterest is really the platform that you want to be on because it has the potential to be the number one website driver for you. And it typically does become the number one website driver for the brands that we work with on that platform. So that is, yeah.
I was going to say, it's so interesting that you brought up Pinterest, because Pinterest, I was just telling my community yesterday that Pinterest is something that people underestimate and people underlook. Mm-hmm. And so it's so interesting that you brought up Pinterest. And I don't think a lot of coaches think about Pinterest.
They should. Honestly, I believe strongly that most brands should be on Pinterest, even if you don't feel it's relevant to you. The reason being that Pinterest is a search engine, right? So Instagram and Facebook are social media. Pinterest is a search engine. And at the end of the day, your audience is going on Pinterest to find something or someone or a service. And so when you can start thinking about keywords and how can I get my content seen, that's when you start being really successful on Pinterest, because the goal of Pinterest is to get people off of the platform versus Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. The goal is to keep you on the platform. So it's really just kind of that mindset shift of, okay, I'm going to create content on Pinterest. I'm not posting about a dinner recipe. I'm not posting about the best outfits for fall. I'm posting about the company that I'm building and the content that we're sharing. And oftentimes for clients that we manage on this platform, we're driving traffic back to a blog, a podcast, other social media content. It's really just such a great engine to drive traffic to all these other sources for you to start circulating more traffic for your brand and driving up revenue for you.
Let me clarify this, and I know the answer, but I know a lot of my audience, they don't know the answers. So you were telling me that by being on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, it doesn't actually get me clients.
It definitely can, but it is a long game.
So why do I need to create content? Like tell me more about this content marketing idea. Like what is it and why does it work?
Yeah. So the goal of social media marketing at the end of the day is to drive client accusation for your brand, right? And it will be successful with the right strategy. So for us, when we think about strategy, it really goes back to your goal. For some of our brands that we work with, the goal is really just, I want more website traffic. I want more traffic to our blog. I want more downloads on our podcast, that type of thing. And for other clients, maybe coaches or product, they're saying, okay, I really want to sign a client, a coaching client, or I really want to sell more of this specific product. And so your strategy needs to be based off of what your goal at the end of the day is. And when you're looking at your content marketing, your marketing and the execution of your marketing is based on your goals and your strategy. And so when you're building out your content, you're really thinking about how can you build community? How can you build trust? How can you build loyalty with your audience on these social media platforms in order to convert them to paying client or customer at the end of the day? The problem with a lot of brands is that there's not really a strategy behind the content. And so you are producing a lot of content, you're getting a lot of posts out there, but because they're not strategic, they're not actually connecting with your audience. And therefore, they're not actually converting your audience members into paying clients. So the real key here is making sure you understand what that strategy is and allowing that to dictate the type of content that you're creating day over day.
Since I have you here, I'm I'm gonna do. Can you give us a high level walkthrough in terms of, let's say I'm a new client walking through, and I really need to. My goal is to get clients, right? I'm just gonna go into your office and say, Emma, my goal is just to get clients. Can you give us like a high level strategies of what does that look like, and how do you help clients to map out that journey of getting the clients?
Definitely. So we always begin using our 95 media method. So it's kind of what I just touched on, but to go into more detail, you have to begin with your goal. So that goal is sign more clients as a coach, right? So, okay, we want to sign more coaching clients for you. That's a high ticket offer typically. And so we want to start looking at how are we bringing people in? Because typically when you go from free content to a high ticket offer, there needs to be some kind of middle ground. So when we move into strategy, which is step number 2 of the 95 media method, we now need to understand what is the strategy to get people from free content consumption to high ticket offer. So we would discuss with you, do you have a masterclass? Do you have a workshop? Do you have a free download or a low ticket offer somewhere in there where the CTA and the content that we can be creating is sending traffic to that source rather than to a landing page where you're trying to sell them into a $10,000, $20,000 coaching package, right? Because your conversions are going to be a lot higher if you can get them on that step ladder rather than going from 0 to 10K. So once we understand that, then we build out the strategy for your content. So, are you posting 3 times a week? Are you posting 7 times a week? And then how do we want to divide up your content based on your content buckets and the way that you want your brand perceived? Then you move into step number 3, which is execution. So that is as you're creating content, you're pumping it out, you're being really strategic and everything, but you're actually posting, you're engaging with your audience, you're getting that content seen on multiple platforms. And as you're doing that, you need to be assessing the data, which is step number 4. We recommend looking at the data and your analytics on a weekly basis. And when you do this, you're allowing yourself to see that really zoomed in look at, okay, what is performing well, what's hitting with my audience, and what is just not connecting with them. With that information, you can then adjust the strategy, going back to step 2, in order to execute more efficiently in step 3. Because this is really a cyclical process where it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4. You're consistently going back and revising based on the data which your audience is giving to you. And so when you follow these steps, it really kind of creates this process for you to say, okay, I understand it's not just, let me just get on stories today and talk about something and post a reel because someone told me that I need to be posting reels content. It's no, you actually understand what that strategy is because it's based on your unique goals and the way that your audience is connecting with your content.
I love everything you just share. It's like you can preach to the choir, but then after a while you just become repetitive, right? And then coming from someone else who's been doing this full time, who have the expertise, just hearing from you, I know there's a lot of ladies who are gonna be like, oh, okay, so that's why that's why Michelle told me to do this.
Yes,
So
for
I
sure.
love it. I love it. So there's a lot of coaches who's using Instagram. Like, have you noticed any changes or what has worked and what's not working now, and where can they improve in terms of using Instagram as a place to drive their traffic to their long form content or their content?
Well, one mistake that I see with a lot of coaches is that, or even just honestly, every brand, every type of business, is that we make our content about ourselves. So you might create a reel that's entertaining, but it's talking about your journey as a coach and your experience rather than the experience of your client. And so we want to make sure that we're orienting all of our content around the client, their experience, their hardships, what they're going through, and presenting your offer as the coach as the solution, right? So the way we kind of can back into this is using the 3 content pillars that are really applicable to all brands. So pillars are high level, and then your content buckets are really specific to you. So, in terms of content pillars, the 3 pillars that we always run through are education, validation, and vulnerability. So, what do I mean by this? Education is the pillar that a lot of brands get stuck in. You might have seen yourself get stuck in this before, where you are creating content that's just strictly educational. It's saying 3 ways to learn how to get unstuck in your in teaching your kids, I don't know, something, right? If you're a coach for moms, right? So there's so many different coaching niches, but if you're saying, okay, 3 tips to this or 5 ways to do this, this is all educational content, and that's really needed in your content marketing, but it shouldn't be all of your content. And that's a big mistake I see, is that we get stuck in this pillar. So allow that to be 1/3 of your content. The next third should be validating content. And this is the type of content that really validates where your audience is at and says, listen, it's okay that you're dealing with X, Y, and Z. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you're struggling with this transition from being, in the workforce to now being home with your children. And, that's okay. Like, that's normal. Like, we all go through this, etc. But you don't have to stay there forever, right? And at that point, you're then providing your offer as the solution to your audience, but you're first validating their experience and allowing them to know, like, you're not alone. It's okay that you are where you are. However, you don't have to stay there. And then the third pillar is vulnerable content. And this is the one that everyone gets so scared about. You're like, oh no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get vulnerable. And it's not that bad, I promise. It doesn't have to be like, this was my hardest breakup. Like, this was the things I've gone through that's for like broke me down. No, we're not talking about that type of personal content. We're really just talking about sharing your journey, sharing where you were and what got you to where you are in different ways along the path of who you are, right? Along the path of building your brand, because it's always going to be consistently shifting and changing. And so, with vulnerable content, what this allows your audience to do is really build connection with you. And this is so incredibly important because I believe that the future of content marketing is really going to be based on who can build deeper relationships with their audience, because that is who is going to monopolize the industry. We see this heavily on TikTok today, where the people and the influencers who are growing insanely fast. If anyone knows who like Alex Earl is, she has grown like crazy over the past 6 months. And it's simply because she is so real, so authentic, and so candid with her audience. And those are the pieces that are really going to set you apart. And you're able to do that and provide that for your audience in that vulnerable content.
Beautifully said. And I think it's really important for coaches to realize that there's three different way of how we share our content, right? Not just providing values. And I think the reason why a lot of coaches get stuck into that educational pillar is because we've been told that you have to, in order to get client, you have to share values. And how do we share value? We educate, we keep giving out the free stuff. And at the end of the day, you have a business, and you need to be able to survive on that business, right? So while people can consume your free content through the educational post, but you have to walk people through that journey so that they will actually want to sign up with you. Otherwise, I can just be in your Facebook group, I can just be in your community for free. And why would I have any urgency to sign up, right? So I think it's so valuable in getting people unstuck themselves. So what with the new AI changes, what we're just gonna project into the future now because AI is a big topic right now. So like in your experience, how would that change the way that we do marketing?
Such a good question. I think AI is going to shift the world of marketing significantly over the course of 2023. I don't think a lot of the things that we do today will look the same a year from now. And while that's equal parts scary, it's also exciting because a lot of AI is really built to take the tasks that we as humans don't need to be doing and make them tech enabled so that they are automated, right? And it's funny because AI is all the rage right now and it's all we're talking about. Meanwhile, these tech tools have been around without really us calling them AI for a long time. So, for example, we use a platform called Tailwind to schedule out Pinterest content. And why I love Tailwind and have been such a big fan of it for so long is because it auto realizes and recognizes the best days and times down to the very minute for your content to be pinned to Pinterest. And it will auto schedule, auto pin that all out for you. And that is AI at its core, right? It is going into your specific account and recognizing the specific minute of the day that your pin will perform the best for your individual account. So I think there's a lot of AI that we all use every day that we don't really realize as AI that is just kind of now being talked about more. But how AI is going to shift marketing is it's going to start taking over a lot of the things that we currently do. And if you're utilizing AI today, you're probably seeing this already. Canva has AI that can help you write content already. Tailwind has already released ghostwriting. Obviously, there's ChatGPT. Like, there's a lot of AI tools that are being released on all of these platforms that we know and love already. And so I would encourage you to look at what can I automate and what can I make easier for myself. However, the clause that I put on this is that I still strongly believe, at least where AI is today in March of 2023, that it does need that human touch. And so it's not something that you can say, oh, well, I want to make a post about gardening and I can tell Canva to write it for me and just copy, paste, boom, done, right? Like, that's not going to sound like you. It's not going to be polished in the way that you typically polish your content. And so I would say, allow it to do the legwork for you, But you're going to need to add that human touch. You're going to need, if it's not you, to have a team who can proofread, who can zhuzh it, who can make it really sound particular to you. Add your emojis, like these little things that we don't always think about when we're writing content. AI isn't able to do right now. And so, utilize the tools to the best of your abilities and make your life easier. But also remember that you are the human and your clients are going to be hiring you for that human touch that you bring to the table. And so it's important to add that to whatever you're utilizing AI for right now.
Love it. I couldn't say it better than bringing that personal touch. And in all honesty, I've been using AI for quite some time. So in the past, I used Jasper IO to use like a lot of proofreads, and also finding the SEO to make sure that the post gets searchable, right? That's one of the topics that we don't have time to get into, but I'm sure your team also help people do that to make sure it's SEO optimized. So my last question to you is, you have a course, you have a mini course. Tell us about that mini course. What does that look like?
Yeah, so Master Your Marketing is our free mini course. It is a 4-module course. It is honestly jam packed with value and materials. And what's inside is really just basically a rundown of my top tips on how to create content that converts. And the number one thing that I hear from so many business owners, especially coaches and service providers who are just kind of starting out, is that content just takes so long to create. And the problem is that it shouldn't. It should not take you that long. And so inside the course, we really cover how to create content that converts in under 30 minutes a day, because I have a really specific content creation calendar that I recommend and walk you through inside that will allow you to really understand, it'll go deeper into the 3 content pillars that we talked about today, how to apply them and really build out content that works for you and allows your social media to be converting your audience into paying clients. And so, yes, this is the landing page, and it's completely free. It's masteryourmarketingcourse.co, and there's just a ton inside that will be really valuable for you.
I was browsing through it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish you were in my life when I first started my business. This is like so valuable. And just being
Yes.
able to take the overwhelm out of creating the content and knowing what to create, exactly, it is so valuable. So 4 comprehensive modules, download content, 2 types of engagement, all these are valuable stuff. Any last word of advice for our audience today?
I think the biggest thing is to just not get discouraged if your content isn't performing how you want it to. There's so many ebbs and flows with social media, especially, that there are days where your content is going to blow up and it's going to be so encouraging. And then the next day, your content is just going to bomb. And it's really just making sure that you stay consistent, you stay like eyes on the goal, you know what you're working towards, and you're putting in the effort. And it truly will pay off. Social media marketing is a long game, but just sticking with it is going to really yield you the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, speaking of reels that didn't do well, a couple of days ago, I created a reel and there was like 60 views. And I'm like, what? I thought that was my best content.
It's always the posts that you put like 3 hours into that absolutely flop, and then the ones that take 2 seconds to record blow up. So
Seriously, like the one that I'm like talking head, nothing special. That one usually performed the best, and the one that I actually took some time, make it all pretty. Those are the one that tanked.
yeah, I know there's no rhyme or reason to it. That is just the algorithm at its best.
It's crazy. Thank you so much, Emma. So where can we find you?
Yes, thank you for having me. First of all, I've loved this conversation. Our website is 95media.co. I am most active on Instagram. It's 90.5.media on Instagram. And our podcast is Stop Scrolling, Start Scaling. Michelle was recently a guest on our podcast, so definitely tune into that episode. It's a really good one. And we're on all socials. So if you go to our website, all of our other links are on that platform as well.
Yeah, I was really admiring your website this morning. I'm like, oh, I love that website. I love
Oh,
it.
thank you so much.
And congratulations doing this amazing work in marketing. And I know there's so many people can use your help in terms of marketing and getting their brand on a scalable platform on a scalable scale, so that they can actually have a profitable business. No,
Yeah.
no one step into business wanting to like struggle, right? So we all wanted to be able to scale. And I just really admire your work and everything that you do. Thank you so
Thank you
much for
so much.
coming.
Thank you.
I will see you very soon. I'm going to wrap up the show and I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching and enjoying. I hope you're enjoying the show, because this is one of the topic I'm super passionate about. And again, don't forget that the 3-day masterclass is happening on April 14th through 16th. So if you're interested, go ahead and sign up today. It's free. It's completely free. 3 days. Yes. Attract client through storytelling.com. And I will see you in the masterclass and also on our next episode. Bye.